Okay, so I promised you guys an IGTV, and here it is. You might hear my husband talking in the background because we share a wall and it's a pandemic and he's here. Okay, so something that's been weighing on me heavily that I just really wanted to express in the hopes that it helps someone else know they're not alone. You may share my frustrations. So through all of my work, my private consulting, working with families, working with schools, my internship as a social worker, my time just talking to parents of my own friends, and being a parent myself. There is a chronic issue going on where kids are not turning in work. Kids who used to be good achievers, high achievers in school, or at least average, are not doing anything. They're failing classes. It's a struggle, and parents are pulling their hair out. And I'm getting a lot of, I've tried everything, I don't know what else to do. So I think there's a couple things to remember. Number one is we cannot forget that we're going through a global crisis and it's affecting everything. Teachers have been given mixed messages. Yes, we want kids to achieve, we want kids to stay healthy academically and still learn, but we also have to be sensitive to what's going on. So teachers are not being as hard on our kids as typical, and that's what we want. That's appropriate and that makes sense. In a normal time, teachers and educators are in the lane and parents are in the lane, and we want to stay in our lane. But everything's been muddied. Kids are learning at home, at least partially, most of them right now. And our job as parents have gotten harder. The job as educators has for sure gotten harder. But let's talk about parents for a minute. It's easier sometimes and more appropriate to let our kids fail. Okay? If you don't get your work done, there'll be a consequence at school. When school's not giving consequences, it makes it harder for parents, right? We have to push the motivation. So it's a tough time right now. And I'm not bad mouthing teachers in any way or educators. I think they should be lenient because we don't know what's going on in kids' homes right now. We don't know if they're being fed, if their basic needs are being met, what it's like, how isolated they are, if they're dealing with family members who've had COVID and passed away. It's a tough time. Unemployment, on and on and on. The other thing that I want everyone to remember, because I have to remember this myself, nothing, not one thing we have asked our children to do in the past year is developmentally appropriate. And I'm just talking children. I don't care what age you have. All right. It is not developmentally appropriate for K through 8 students to be managing all of these online classes. It is not. Okay. Yes, there are reputable online schools that have been going on in unprecedented times, right? And they know what they're doing, but we're all learning it as we go. So my 6th grader and my 8th grader should not have to manage 8 online classes. Last semester, I managed 5, okay? 5 as a second-time master's degree student, and it was tough. Really, really tough. So my 6th and 8th grader should not be asked to manage 8. Certainly, our elementary schoolers shouldn't be. And I don't think our high school should be either. Again, not bad mouthing schools or educators in the least. It is the best we can do. It is what we can offer right now. We have to put safety first. Medical needs have to come first, and then we take care of the whole child. We nurture their emotional and mental health, and academics are going to take a back seat, and that's okay. So when your kid all of a sudden isn't achieving the way you know they can, it's because, again, nothing we have asked is developmentally appropriate. To be this disappointed and this resilient over and over again, not developmentally appropriate. What is being asked of us as parents, not developmentally appropriate either, but we're doing it and we're doing awesome and we're doing the best we can. So is my little tirade here, my little speech saying you should just let it go, let your kids do whatever they want? No. You know what they're capable of. But they're probably not capable of what they were capable of last year. My suggestion is to back up and reflect. If you've taken away their phone, you've given them all kinds of logical consequences that it might have worked in precedented times, right? And it's not working, they're not doing any better, stop. If it's not working, stop. Back up. And I would say let's be positive. Let's celebrate what they're doing. Okay, maybe every night after dinner, say, show me what you finished and turned in today without any of my prompting or help, and celebrate all the assignments they have turned in. Maybe come up with some kind of system. For every assignment you turn in, you're going to earn 5 minutes with Dad working on that woodworking project. You're going to earn 5 minutes with me, and we're going to do that art project together. Maybe they don't want to spend time with you. Fine, I get it. My kids are sick of me too. You're gonna earn 25 cents of Roblox, whatever, that money for Roblox, for every assignment you turn in independently on your own. Celebrate what they're doing well, hoping they'll build up, okay? Take advantage of the fact that a lot of our kids are starting new trimesters, quarters, whatever your school is on right now, and they have a fresh start. Let them do the best they can to tie up what's going on now and start over again. But tell them you understand why they're struggling. You get it. This is not okay. This is the way things are, and it's not okay, right? We are all struggling with it, and you understand that they can't do it perfectly, and that is okay. And celebrate what they're doing well. It's happened in my house. I thought I was really on top of things. I wasn't. And I couldn't be any more than I was because I'm in school and working and doing all the mom stuff. And my child got so overwhelmed with all the assignments she missed, she just shut down and stopped doing everything. Punishments didn't help, so I stopped them because they didn't help. And I felt no guilt not punishing her for doing things she shouldn't be doing because they weren't working. Instead, we got positive, we celebrated all her gains, and I did things and said things like, oh my goodness, you only have 2 assignments missing, high five. Yeah, I celebrated only 2 assignments missing. I celebrated having 2 assignments missing. It was an improvement. So we're going through a tough week here. Our school is starting back with a full classroom next week. We have a half day and then a few full days, and my kids are all kinds of anxious. And I want to say to them, what gives? You guys have gone to full day school before. Why are you anxious about it? But that's not true. It's been a year, and they don't know how it feels anymore. It's their 6th first day of school. 6th, okay, of something different. Again, not appropriate. It's the 6th time we've asked our teachers to change their policies and procedures and start over again. Not appropriate, but it is what it is, and we're doing our best. So they have a lot of feelings. They don't really even understand why they're grumpy, but they are. I was up all night last night with my 3rd grader who just couldn't sleep, and he can't really explain why. He says he's excited for school. Your kids may be nervous about COVID because we've told them to be nervous. I read this really interesting blog that we have trained our kids not to be trusting of the adults around them this year out of need, because not everybody is taking the pandemic as seriously as we are. And so we wanted them to ask questions and be fearful. And we have, and I get it. And it's going to take some time to untrain our brains, rewire our brains to start trusting again and not worrying that we have a different viewpoint about COVID as a person next to us. So I don't have all the answers, but I think these kinds of things are important for us to be aware of and helps with our lens shift, which is something I've read about. I love that term. Ross Greene uses it a lot in his work. I love his stuff. You should read it. When we're thinking about why our kids are struggling. And here's a phrase that's on Instagram all the time that I love on parenting blogs and teacher blogs. My kid is not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time. They're not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time. Maybe I need to tell my husband that too. I'm not giving him a hard time. I'm having a hard time. This is impossible. It is. No one can do it beautifully, but we can all do our best and give a lot of love to our kids and a lot of understanding. If you like this IGTV, like it. It'll help other people see it. Comment, that helps other people see it more. Save it, that helps even more people see it. Free things to do to help support me. Thank you and have a good weekend.